Through you, Madam Chair. Mr. Johnston, in 2010, Justin Trudeau, as a private citizen before entering into politics, told CBC Radio that you were a great dinner companion. He specifically said, quote, "We had great conversations around dinner tables, around all sorts of things." This was said around the same time that you were being appointed as our Governor General. Were you aware of that statement, sir?
Madam Chair, I was not aware of that statement in connection with Mr. Trudeau. My meeting with him occurred when he was 10 or 11 years old, skiing with my children 4 or 5 times.
Thank you, Mr. Johnston. We'll get into those areas. My time is very limited, sir. Sir, I got another question for you. As Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau described you as a lifelong family friend, a friendship cemented over many summers as neighboring cottagers in the Laurentians. You never corrected the Prime Minister in his characterization of your relationship with him. Isn't that correct?
Madam Chair, the connection I had with Mr. Trudeau.
Mr. Johnston, I apologize for interrupting you, but the question is, did you?
I'm going to pause. I didn't think it'd be this early into the meeting. Mr. Brock, you and I have had an exchange before, so you know very well that comments are through the chair. I can assure you that the Prime Minister and I have not gone to the cottage together. And so I would just say that if we can just pause and take a second, that's why I wanted to provide a little bit more time. I will provide leniency to ensure that we get to where you need to get to.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And the question to Mr. Johnston was, did you characterize or did you change that statement that Justin Trudeau as Prime Minister made to you about you being a lifelong family friend cemented over many summers as neighboring cottagers in the Laurentians? Did you confirm or deny that, sir?
Madam Chair, I was not familiar with the statement that has just been made. I was friends of the father of Mr. Trudeau through his life in politics, and when we tried to engage him with the University of Montreal to be a professor on his return. My last particular meeting with the current Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Johnston. I'm going to be getting into areas where you can expand upon things that you've done with the Prime Minister. I need to move on. My time is limited. In 2016, 6 years into your role as Governor General, you gave an interview to the CTV. You were asked about your views of having the Trudeau family living on the grounds of Rideau Hall. Without pause or hesitation, you said it was wonderful because their children played with your grandchildren in the garden. That was pretty exciting to have the next generation together, bringing the place alive. That statement was accurate, correct?
Madam Chair, I don't remember that particular statement, but it is true that the Trudeau family lived in
Thank you, Mr. Johnston. You further stated in the same interview that the Trudeaus were very good tenants.
Point of order, Mr. Turnbull.
Seen now repeated Mr. Brock cutting off the witness when he's not being given the chance to respond. I would appreciate it if at least we could just let Mr. Johnston respond to the question he's being asked. I think that's decorum and normal practice.
Madam Chair, if I may respond, my time is very limited. The question was centered on as to whether or not the statement was accurate. It did not require the witness to elaborate.
I'm just going to respond really quickly, and I feel that Brock has high ratings. We've been here for a long time. I think you know how I operate as chair now as well. And I do believe these points of orders and me interrupting, which I don't want to do, actually just takes away from the time that we're talking about being so precious. Allowing the witness to finish a sentence, I do not think would take too much time, and I think it's appropriate just to let the witness answer. Mr. Brock, I agree the time is yours, but let's just be mindful, and I think we can get through this. And I know you can, Mr. Brock, so I'm going to pass you back the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You further stated that your wife Sharon and yourself became good friends with the Trudeaus, that your relationship with Pierre Trudeau went back to children's days when the families would get together to ski at Mount Tremblant. You stated that the 3 Trudeau boys were the same age as your 5 daughters, that you became a ski party at Mont Tremblant. You stated that your children had enormous respect for Pierre Elliott Trudeau. He was a wonderful father and very good with the children who at this point were teenagers, that he would lead them into discussions such as democracies in the world. And then in 2017, sir, you interviewed with Paul Wells. You talked of knowing Justin Trudeau since he was 6 years old, as both families shared adjacent cottages in the Laurentians. In 2017, sir, the Prime Minister paid tribute to you, calling you a family friend and a friend of his father. He ended his comments by saying to both of you and your wife, "Thank you, my friends." You privately or publicly did not object to the assessment of your friendship with Justin Trudeau. Now let's fast forward to your press conference of May the 23rd. You were on record stating the following basic facts of your so-called friendship with Justin Trudeau. Your words, sir, that when your children were ages 7 to 12, you had a condo at the foot of Mount Tremblant. Pierre Elliott Trudeau had a country home 50 kilometers away. On 5 occasions over 7 years, he and his 3 kids came and parked their car in the lot. On 1 occasion, you drove the kids back to their mother's house. You knew Justin Trudeau as a student at McGill. You had no contact with Justin Trudeau until he was an elected MP and later as Prime Minister. The point is, for 40 years, you said, sir, I had no contact with JT, Justin Trudeau, not as a friend. Those are the facts. Later that day, you interviewed with CTV anchor Omar Sakajina and stated your relationship with Justin Trudeau was an unfortunate allegation. You largely confirmed the same details as your press conference, but changed the frequency of ski trips to 5 occasions over 2 to 3 years, as opposed to over 7 years. Now, Mr. Johnston, what we have before this committee are 2 completely different descriptions of your relationship with Justin Trudeau. Those 2 different descriptions cannot be accurate at the same time. So my question is simple and direct, Mr. Johnston. Were you telling Canadians the truth on May the 23rd or back in 2016?
Madam Chair, telling the truth with connection with my relationship with Prime Minister Trudeau goes back to when our children were teenagers, and during the course of almost 40 years, we had no meetings, no dinners at one another's homes, no particular contact. Was a friend of the father, etc., but those were the extent of the contacts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll resume the time there. Sir, you were a member of the Trudeau Foundation until your appointment to this position. Is that correct?
I was a member, Madam Chair, I was a member of the Trudeau Foundation, member of the association, which is like shareholders in general meeting of the Trudeau Foundation, not a member of the board of directors. I joined it in 2018, just a year or so after I stepped down as Governor General, because I've had a very long concern and interest in student support, graduate student
Thank you, sir.
scholarships. And the role as a member of the association is to attend annual general meetings, to vote in the board of directors.
Thank
But
you,
I
sir.
have had nothing to do whatsoever with any of the decision-making of the Trudeau Foundation.
Were you aware of the reporting that the Trudeau Foundation was targeted for a foreign influence campaign by Beijing and that the foundation accepted $140,000 from the communist dictatorship in Beijing?
Madam Chair, the first knowledge I had of that particular gift was when it appeared in the newspaper. And as a member of the association, I received a memo from the CEO, like I think other members of the association. That
Thank you, sir.
had started a press release indicating that that gift was being returned.
Thank you for confirming your knowledge of it. Given your ties to the foundation's involvement with Beijing, and Beijing's role in your report, do you see a conflict of interest?
Madam Chair, my connection with the association of the Trudeau Foundation had no role whatsoever with the decision-making of the board of directors, the acceptance of gifts and so on.
Thank you, sir.
And
You've been friends with Frank Iacobucci for decades, is that correct?
Madam Chair, Professor Iacobucci and I were young law professors at the University of Toronto, I think when I was about 25, and yes, he's been a lifelong friend.
And Mr. Iacobucci, also a member of the Trudeau Foundation, is who you sought out an opinion from on the matter of whether or not you were in a conflict of interest, for which he provided you the exemption or excuse that you were looking for.
Madam Chair, Professor Iacobucci, Justice Iacobucci, was not a member of the Trudeau Foundation. He was a mentor to 1 or 2 students who were scholars of the foundation. The function of the foundation is not only to provide scholarships, but to provide the possibility of mentorship for those students by people who are respected in their area.
Thank you,
and
sir.
he served in that capacity. And yes, when allegations were made about me having a conflict of interest,
Thank you, sir.
he knows me for a long time, and he indicated I had none.
Sir, I believe there's, at least 12 retired Supreme Court justices who aren't associated with the Trudeau Foundation, like Mr. Iacobucci. Mr. Iacobucci's law firm, Torys LLP, was also hired. You hired them to assist you, and working for Torys was longtime Liberal donor Sheila Block. So we have you with an association to the Trudeau Foundation. We have Mr. Iacobucci, who is associated with the Trudeau Foundation. We have Ms. Block, who is a lifetime donor and supporter of the Liberal Party, including attending fundraising events with the Prime Minister in recent time. Given all of that, you don't see a conflict of interest?
Madam Chair, with respect to the question of Ms. Block, she is a preeminent counsel.
The question is with respect to conflict of interest, sir.
Okay, pause. So you just took 23 seconds to ask that? Let's just provide the witness 23 seconds to answer that. And now I can't believe that I'm sitting here timing how much time it's taking for the questions so the answer so that I can run a functional meeting. When members have all asked for 3 hours of time of this person. 3 hours, that's a long time to be meeting. And then we talk about how important our time is, but then you want me to keep interrupting. So, Mr. Johnston, the floor is yours.
Madam Chair, I do not see a conflict. Sheila Block is a preeminent counsel. She served me very faithfully when I was invited by Prime Minister Harper to undertake another very difficult inquiry 15 years or so ago. She is renowned for the quality of her work. It's certainly important work that's done well. But that said, the conclusions in the report are mine. Whatever lawyers in practice or others do with respect to contributions to political campaigns, these are all on public record and well understood.